How's it going, Ding Dongs? Welcome back to Ding Dong Drift. If you missed the last video, go check it out. I 3D printed doors. But in this week's video, let's see if the FRS fixed itself, and if not, see if I can fix it. That's a no. Let's get it inside. God damn buckets. Honestly, it doesn't sound that horrible. All right, that's good enough. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how gigantic SCs are? So you can see they line up in the rear. This is like a couple inches further back. Look at the front, dude. Look at that. Holy shit, the SC is gigantic. If you guys missed this, this is my new project car. It's a 2013 FRS, and as you can hear, it has rod knock. Hopefully it's just the spun rod bearing, and I've watched some videos and it seems like Subaru engine rod bearings are, at least these engines, not that bad to change. You just drop the oil pan, take off the pickup tube, and you can see the rod bearings clearly through the engine casing. So I already got some rod bearings. These were 50 bucks. I guess all there is to it is jack this thing up, start taking it apart, and see what we can find. Bro, this just scared the crap out of me. This thing is so freaking loud. Where is it? Come here. Let me open the garage. God, I was like, what the hell is in the garage making all this noise? There he goes. All right, first order of business. Change the oil, or drain the oil. So we're gonna first drain the oil. This hood weighs like nothing, dude, compared to an SC hood. God, this car is made out of like tin cans, dude. No wonder it's so freaking light. Literally doesn't freaking weigh anything. Hold on, is this steel? Oh, it's aluminum. That's why. Yeah, that's a steel hood, and it's like twice the size of this hood, so that makes sense. Well, this thing's a little dirty, but I haven't hooked up my hose yet, so new talent acquired. What the heck? It says Subaru? What is this gay shit? Ran into something over there. Definitely ran into something. Surprisingly, these are 12 mils, not 10. This was a Toyota, they'd be 10. Oh my God. That is so loud. Jesus, that's insane. Why is that on so tight? Oh my God, dude. That's insane. Why is that so tight? All right, I got a somewhat clean pan so that we could see how bad the oil is. It's so freaking dirty. While the oil pan is taking a freaking delenium to drain, take this out, I guess. It's also the dumbest oil filter freaking design ever. I need to get one of those oil filter cutter open thingies. The reason I say this is dumb is because every time you start your engine, the oil filter has drained itself out into the pan. So then every time you start your engine, it's got to pump the oil filter full and then pump the engine full. But whatever, I guess. Subaru knows what they're doing. All right, this is finally almost done draining, so try to get this heat shield off without stripping every single bolt, because they look toasted and they're 10 mils and with tiny little studs. Oh no, there's the bearing. Yeah, there's the bearing material. See how it's dark, and then when I move it, it turns a lighter brown. Pretty sure that's bearing material. So I went digging for gold, and I found it. There it is. Plenty of bearing material at the bottom of the pan. Look at all that sparkle. Beautiful. All right, let's see if I can take this heat shield off without blowing out my eardrums or stripping every bolt. Yep, that one's stripped. Well, attempting to take the heat shield off didn't work. Got it halfway off, and then I realized it can't come out unless the header comes off. All the header bolts out, and then I got to the exhaust flange right there, and that's when all the fun ended. I'm gonna let it sit overnight with some WD-40 on there, because
First of all, there's no room to get in there. Secondly, it's a tiny 14 millimeter nut, and I don't know if you can see, I already stripped some of it, so I'm gonna let it sit and I'll come back tomorrow and try to get it off. Well, it's the next day, and as you can see, things have escalated. Finally got the header off. Turns out righty tighty lefty loosey is actually the way you're supposed to do it, and I was doing lefty tighty or righty loosey. So that's why it wasn't that's why I stripped the bolt. But once I got the wrench on there spinning the correct direction, everything came apart right, no problem whatsoever. Oil pan is nice and exposed, so time to zip off all these bolts, see what's going on in there. Maybe we can see the rod bearings. If we can't, then this was all a giant waste of time. So the secret is apply a lot more pressure. Way, way, way more pressure than you think is safe. I don't think I'm able to get to the rod bearing. I can see one rod bearing, but then this baffle is completely in the way.
All right, so it's been a couple days and I've had to think about what's going on with this car. Obviously this motor's chooched. Okay, first of all, I can't get to the rod bearings to replace them while it's in the car. Secondly, if I were to pull the motor out and replace the bearings, who knows if the crank is good, and if the crank bearings are good, because then that's even more work. If the motor's out already, why put a shitty motor back in if I could put something new in? That's my thought process right now. And I've been doing a little bit of like price tracking and research on 2UR GSEs, and honestly, they're just way too expensive right now. The cheapest one I could find was $7 grand on eBay, and it didn't have any accessories, no intake, nothing, no harness, no ECU, just a bare long block, just the block and heads for $7 grand, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then crashed GSFs and RCFs and whatever, completely totaled, like the whole rear end missing, still sell for like 25,000 at auction. Obviously that's not money I have to toss around in this project, so I think I've decided to go the 1UR FSC route, which is the 4.6 out of a LS460, GS460, or GX460. And those are like 600 bucks at junkyards everywhere. And it has the same 8-speed transmission as the GSE, the 2UR GSE. If I ever do find a 2UR GSE, I could just toss it in, same motor mounts, it literally will just drop right in, bolt up to the transmission, change the ECU, and it's ready to go. I think what I'm gonna do, just put this thing back together, take a look and see how awful it actually is. You can see that. That's basically all the bearing material. This thing is toast. It is completely chooched. Yeah, there's probably more than one bearing that has gotten toasted. Probably crank bearings too. I bought some cheap Costco oil. I'll put this thing back together, run a couple oil changes and filters through it, and we'll just run a thicker oil in it. And for now, until it completely seizes up, we'll just so I can move it around in the driveway and stuff, because I don't want a roller that I have to push around. I'd like it to, you know, still be running so that I can at least move it in and out and stuff with things that I want to do. But I think this project's going to be on the back burner a little bit, because I don't want to buy an engine for it yet, because I still have to fund this engine build, the 1UZ, Turbo 1UZ for the Nimbus. So I'm gonna put this back together. We'll do a couple oil changes on it, do all the fun stuff like, you know, 3D printing fog lights and all this stuff that I usually do. Maybe there's some engine parts. If you're an FRS owner, let me know what kind of parts you'd like to see. Obviously I make aero as well, so roof wing, maybe a ducktail, some wide body fenders, all that stuff. So what you guys are missing, I know it's a very saturated aftermarket for this car, but if there's something that you think is either missing or overpriced that I probably could make cheaper at a smaller scale, let me know in the comments. Let's toss this thing all back together. Give it a wash, because the weather's beautiful. So let's wash this thing and see how it looks. All right, so it's the next day. I got this thing back together. I didn't film any of it because it's the same thing as disassembly, just backwards and more frustrating. I had a bitch of a time getting the exhaust back on the header. For some reason, the exhaust was pulling itself over to this like opposite side of where it's supposed to be. I don't understand why. So I was using one pry bar to push it in the direction, then another pry bar to get it over the studs of the header. Holy shit, that sucked. It's all back together now. All right, I'm back. Got some new filters. Let me grab the oil. Only the highest quality Costco. What the heck, is it just that slow or does it take more oil than that? Time to Google it. So apparently it's fucking 5.8 quarts.
guess I didn't buy enough. I gotta find another jug of 530. I think I have one more. So we'll do this whole 5/4. So I don't have another quart of 5W30, so we're gonna put some of the recommended 0W20 in here. Luckily I have almost 2 quarts here, so I'm gonna put half of it in right now, and then we can do the other half in the other oil change. Can't get worse, right? I mean it kinda can, but it's fine, don't worry about it. I'm kinda scared. That's a lot of slapping. That's a lot of friction. That is a lot of friction in the engine. That does not want to run. Let's turn it off. I'll drain the oil and we'll put another one in and we'll, yeah, that's the end of it. All right, so we got the FRS outside. Sylvia just drove it around the block and she's falling in love with it. So she started cleaning the interior of it so it's not so gross and dusty. She's almost done, so I'm gonna clean the outside now. So let's get it cleaned up so it can sit in the driveway for a few months. All right, well there we have it. The FRS is all nice and clean, ready to sit on the driveway for a few months until I get an engine for it. Sylvia did a great job with the interior, so leave a comment saying thank you, Sylvia, because she did such a good job. Like I said previously, I'll be doing small projects to it, small parts here and there. So if you have an FRS and you think there's a gap somewhere for some parts or maybe something's overpriced, let me know in the comments for anything you'd like to see made for this car. So as you can see, the weather's turning around. It's getting nice and warm, and I got the fenders for the SC. So in the next video, I'm gonna be cutting these up, scanning everything, and 3D printing the new fenders that will have the wheel wells and everything built in. And then the last thing will be the bumper. That's gonna be in the week after that. If you don't wanna miss that, huge project's coming, make sure you subscribe. If you wanna see these videos early, check out the Patreon. If you haven't noticed, this is another new camera. It is a full frame once again, but it's a much newer full frame that I'm very excited about. I just gotta get a V90 card for it because this thing can record 600 megabits per second at 4K 120, 10-bit 422. If you know what that means, good for you. If you don't, it's basically a cinema camera. Some good shit is coming, some cool cinematics. So yeah, cool stuff is coming. And it's all thanks to you guys placing orders, the Patreon supporters, and all that. So thank you so much, guys. That's gonna be it for this one. Peace out, ding dong, stay sweet, and I'll see you guys next week.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your job?